I hope you're all doing very good. Okay. In every competition, there's rules that governs how the competition is supposed to be conducted. And for the 2024 Hackathon competition, it's open to all students, irrespective of your background, whether you're a science student or it's open to all of you. And the competition is going to last for 36 hours. And then within the 36 hours, you are expected to come out with a product, innovative product that will inform the social media. I've sent your team names, and some of them are so interesting. We have Team Alpha, Tech, Greek. We have Formidable, Team Formidable. We have Digital Dreamers, and then Unity Coders. And that's our excellent team names. So as I indicated earlier, the 2024 Hackathon involved teams of not more than 5 members working together over 36 hours to develop a product. Then, after you have developed your product for within the 36 hours, you will break, and then you're going to have judges. You present your product to the judges, and then a team of judges will evaluate your product and then award a mark. So for the hackathon, we're going to select 3 teams. You have 5 teams. That's not it. We're going to have 3 of the teams that we selected to participate at the national level. And that 3 teams is going to represent your university at the national level, which means that it's going to involve a lot of work within the 36 hours. The 36 hours starts from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. But today, we introduced to the Start Bank. We call it Start Bank. It's a digital platform, digital platform where we have a repository where we have our data set. And the data set is going to form the basis on which you develop your product. For the 2024 Hackathon, we've selected 6 technical universities across the country. And then we have from the top, Dr. Hilary Mant Technical University, which is WA Technical University. We have Bogart Technical University. We have Sunyani Technical University, Kufuria, Takrady, and then Accra Technical University. So these are the 6 technical universities that are participating in the 2024 Hackathon competition. One may ask, what is the goal objectives of this competition? One of them is to promote the use of integrated data sets. As I indicated earlier, we have the Start Bank. The Start Bank hosts variety of data sets produced by Ghana Statistical Service. So what we want to do is just to harmonize and bring all data sets together to one place for students, the academia, and the general public to access and create product or make good use of to inform policy decision. Then the next one, to extend the awareness of the resourcefulness of the Start Bank. The resourcefulness is that we all know we have decision makers across this country. Right from our universities, at the various departments, we all take decisions. And then we are in an era of decision-driven era where data inform the decisions that we make. So we want to make sure that we create that awareness in the mind of all decision makers. Make sure that the decision that they take for you and I is informed by data. Then the next one is harness the use of data science and then artificial intelligence techniques in deepening the engagement with our data. Some of you are data science students, and some of you are also IT students. And based on the products that you're going to develop, will also enhance and deepen the artificial intelligence and then our artificial intelligence techniques and data science techniques in bringing out products that will inform decision making. We also want to expand the pool of data Statistical service that we have. Now, the pool of data that we have is that the data, apart from the start banks, we also encourage you to also look beyond the start bank. The start bank's data forms the basis on which we produce our product or generate our product. But then beside the start bank, if there's any other data source that you are familiar with, that you know of, that can support your product, we want to also use that. And that is where we are saying that we want to expand the pool of data that we have as a country. And we also want to sustain the partnership of this data science with the academia. The academia produces a lot of data at the end of the day through the research that students conduct. So at the end of the day, they want to make sure that Statistical Service, as the government institution mandated to produce statistics, we have that collaboration, health and well-being, SDG 3, gender equality, SDG 5, sustainable city and then communities, SDG 11, decent work and then economic opportunities, which is SDG 8, reduce inequality, which is SDG 10, food security and agriculture, which is SDG 2, and then energy access and clean fuel. So these are the thematic areas within which we expect the teams to develop their products. So the product that we're developing is going to be within any of these thematic areas. So as you make introduced to the data start bank, it's going to give you the idea on which of these SDGs, that thematic areas that your team will be comfortable in and what your product will be based on. Now, the prizes, as I indicated earlier, we're going to have we're going to select 3 of the teams for the final competition, 3 out of the 5. So the winner will go with 5,000 cash, and then the first runner-up will go with 3,000 cash, and then the second runner-up will also go with 2,000 cash. So that is the award for the competition, which means that you really have to, British will say that you really have to work your ass out. You really have to sit and then work yourself to ensure that you win the award. As part of the engagement, we're going to have our Statistical Service data scientists. We have 2 of them that is going to be with you. We'll guide you through after the presentation, help you with ideas, and then to develop your product. I know within your school, you don't have your mentors within your school that have mentored you up to where you are. They are also going to be there within the 36 hours to help you perfect the product that you'll be coming out with at the end of the day. So on this note, I would like to welcome all of you for the competition, and I wish you all the best. I'll hand over to Simon to take over.
Thank you very much. Okay, so there are 5 teams in all. Can I see the teams? Alpha team. Alpha, how many are you? 3. How many are supposed to be? 5. Where are the rest? 4 of you are here. Then tech jet. Geek. Okay. You have 4. You're formidable. How many are you? How many are you supposed to be? You are 3. Okay. Then digital payment. 3. And the last thing, Unity codes. Sorry, remember.
Yes, one
Huh?
They came late.
I'm not supposed to be. I'm not in the team.
Four.
All right. Okay, so thank you very much for coming. We are going to engage with you for a few minutes or hours, and within this engagement, we are going to be doing these things. So we are first of all going to introduce you to the rules and guidelines. Okay. And the next thing we'll do is to walk you through the digital repository, which is called the standard. Because the hackathon we are coming to have is not hacking as in hacking, right? We're not going to bring in everybody's website so you know what database. That is not very good. But we are hacking in a positive dimension, where we are using data in an innovative way to develop solutions that can solve problems that are confront us. So we are going to be with you to introduce you to the Stat Bank, how to use it, how to access data from it, and also go ahead to explain to you what the data you've accessed from the Stat Bank means, because we have different aspects of data sets. We have information at individual level at the point, where we have information at household level. Are you okay? And some of the information are being presented at the district level. So we need to go to those levels where we are presenting the data of the Stat Bank and when to use the data set, right? We'll walk you through the Stat Bank. We'll also explain to you some of the concepts as you use them based on the topics you have identified to work with. And at the end of the day, if there are any questions or clarifications, we'll provide access and we can go through. So we'll be introducing you to the guidelines as I indicated. I mean, we can actually start now. Let us start the conceptualization of the product we want to develop now. So that is why we do that. Hackathon starts now. And then on Thursday by 11 a.m. Are you okay? Even though it's going to be a 36-hour marathon, the 36-hour counting actually starts tomorrow at 7 a.m. But it does not mean that you can't start thinking and conceptualizing your product from now. Are you okay? You are free to go online, look at the data sets, and start thinking, gathering materials that you think can help you develop your product. But the counting of the 36 hours is actually going to start from tomorrow at 7 a.m. And by 11 a.m. on Thursday, we will have brought everything to an end, where teams will be expected to submit their solutions to a link we are going to provide you. And then after that, there's going to be a 5-minute presentation from each team, showcasing your product and what it stands for. Then at the end of the day, the judges will be instituted to award marks and then to identify which team is winning and which is. So we are just also saying that don't try to be a perfectionist. Don't try to say that as for us, we want to finish everything and make everything accurate. You have only 36 hours to do this. But just make sure that you use the 36 hours to the best of your ability. It doesn't matter what stage the product will get to. Don't forget, once you are selected among the top 3, you have the opportunity to continue developing your product at the national hackathon, right? So what it means is that wherever you get to, it does not matter. But what it means is that you need to put in all the effort you can as a team within the 36 hours to make sure that you are able to go back. You are free to interpret it the way you want. I mean, as I said, but we are not happy to break into anybody's website. Actually, you can break into GSS website, don't even try. But the point is that the hacking in this sense is not to do anything like you are hacking as hackers do. But this is to use data, as I indicated, on the Stat Bank and any other data set you think can help you develop your product. The sky is the limit, whether it is a standing visualization, an informative policy paper, the choice is yours. Just remember, you have to combine the Stat Bank data with any other data source. Is that all right? So when we are doing the judging, we want to look at how well you have used the Stat Bank data, because that is the product GSS is projecting, the Statistical online bank, where we are saying that it's an online data report which is free to all audience, and we expect that you show us expertise in using that particular data report. So there are going to be mentors to help you, and that is why we have about 6 members from Ghana Statistical Service here to support you. So we are going to have mentors from DSS. Some of your lecturers on campus are also going to be some mentors. Now, this is what you can do with the mentors. You can ask them, you can explain your product to them, and then they can also assist you in coming up with a realistic solution, right? So you explain to your mentor what you are doing, and your mentor can guide you. Your mentor can also help you access the data set which you are struggling to access, right? But what a mentor cannot do for you is to sit behind your machine and write codes for you, or maybe develop the product for be a competition, right? But we are only here to help and guide you and enjoy that. So the essential transparency is to ensure all components of your creation from codes to scripts are handed over. This holistic view helps judges evaluate your work in its entirety. So definitely, I don't know what programming languages you are going to be using to develop your solution. I don't know how you are going to start the product development, but we expect that at the end of the day, the script you may have developed in writing or in developing your solution, together with the solution, you zip all of them into a single folder and submit it to the link that we're going to provide, so that it will help the judges to holistically look at the product that has been developed and then judge something great in the future. And the focus more is on the national hackathon. At the national level, you are going to meet colleagues from other technical universities across the country. You are meeting colleagues from Koforidua Technical, Accra Technical, Takrady Technical University, Burger, and then WA. Okay, so then in addition to yourself. So you're going to compete on a national stage, and at that point, it's going to be, we saw what happened last year, so we know what we are saying. It's going to be very tough and competitive, so that's always. So there's going to be a 5-minute presentation to the judges. I'd already indicated that. So as you develop your solution, for example, if you have developed an interactive dashboard, you are free to showcase that dashboard to judges together with its functionalities, how the dashboard functions, how you can use it. If you develop something robotic, you are free to showcase it within that 5 minutes. If it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation, maybe you have developed a policy paper, and then you want to give us excerpts of the findings from that paper, you are free to do that within the 5 minutes. Whatever you have developed, you have just 5 minutes to explain to us, to convince us that this is the problem you have identified, and this is the solution you've developed to cater for that particular problem. Now, after your 5-minute presentation, the judges will have 10 minutes to question you, and this is where you have the opportunity to further explain into details your product, right? So every team will have a 15-minute period to explain what you have developed to us. Then we'll base on that to judge each of the teams. Please, are you all right? Okay. So this is what we are going to be looking at after the product development. So we're going to see how well you are able to access and download data from the Stat Bank. So let's say you want to do something on energy. You want to do something on food security. Now, if you go to the Stat Bank, how do you even identify that this is information on food insecurity and this is information on energy? And are you able to access the data and download it? Are you able to use the data in an innovative way? We'll be looking out for all these among our teams. And then are you able to enrich that Stat Bank data with other auxiliary data sets? So maybe you want to do something about country planning, you want to do something about energy conservation. Are you able to access data from Ghana Energy Commission? Are you able to use any other external data together with what you have identified from the Stat Bank? Please, one thing you need to know, you can use the Stat Bank data to build the problem. Now, from the Stat Bank data, we have information spanning from census, we have information on a lot of surveys, we have macroeconomic indicators. You can look at the statistics for Ghana from the Stat Bank, use that to build the problem, and possibly use an external data to help you build the solution you want to build, right? So it is not necessarily saying that you must develop the product using Stat Bank data from beginning to the end. If you're able to do that, that is also fine. But the point is that if you can use the Stat Bank data as a basis to conceptualize your problem, then you want to use other auxiliary data sets. So enriching the Stat Bank data with other external data sources is key in the product development. And the judges should be looking at how well you are able to do this. And then that's your product address a relevant policy question, right? So you're not just building anything, but it should be a targeted solution you are building. Please are you together? So that I know whatever I'm building is addressing issues about energy access, it's addressing issues about sanitation, it is addressing issues about food security, it has something to do with employment and employment opportunities in Ghana. We need to make sure that at the end of the day, your product is properly situated in one of the thematic areas that Mr. Bequin had outlined. So look at all the SDG indicators that were in the criteria, and then make sure you situate your solution in one of them. And then innovative use of combined data and how beautiful the final product looks. So if you are building a web application, we'll look at the features, we'll look at the appearance of it. If you are building an interactive dashboard, we'll look at the color codes, we'll look at arrangements and how orderly the solution is looking, right? So it is not just building anything, but we are building a product that is well organized, a product that makes a lot of sense, that if someone looks at it, it looks beautiful. Please are you together? So we'll look at the beauty aspect of it. And then the message that the product is carrying should be clear, right? And then the potential for improvement in the national round. I've talked about the future of the product. It is also very important. And then the quality of the presentation. So whoever is presenting on behalf of the team should make sure that, or maybe the team should identify somebody they clearly believe can actually communicate the message from the product to the judges. Someone who can convince the judges to buy into whatever you have developed, so that at the end of the day, we know that the judges are going to judge based on what they have heard and all that. So Mr. Bequin had already mentioned this. There's a prize to our 36-hour trial. So the first team, that is the first place team, and then the team will be placed first based on the scores judges are going to give, depending on the criteria that have already been outlined, right? So based on the criteria, each judge is going to assign scores. So there is a judging criteria, we assign scores, and then based on the scores, we rank the scores. So let's tell you how the judging is done. So let's say if the first team, I give them a score of say 80. After adding all the scores from each of the criteria, you get a score of 80. The second team, I get 72. So when I'm doing the ranking, the one who got 80 will be 111. There are 5 judges. You get 5/5 because there are 5 judges. The number of observations, which you call the sample size, is 5. You divide, you get 1. So if you are ranked number 1, or if the average score is the smallest, then it means you have the best solution according to the judges. And then that is how we do the awards. So if you win, or if at the end of the day you are number 1, you get 5,000 cedis, right? It's not US dollars. Cedis. It's not US dollars. So this is your appetizer, right? This is your first motivation. But we always say that this is not the end, but just the beginning. You have no idea what you stand to gain if you progress to the national stage and make it big at the national stage. Last year, we saw a lot of breakthroughs. So last year, this was what happened. We invited people from industry. So we didn't only focus on academia. Judges were industry experts who were interested in some of these innovative solutions. And when they came, I remember the team that was the first runner-up at the nationals. They were from University of Ghana. So what the industry players did was to pick them immediately and give them straight employment. Yes. So Express, there's this online money transfer something called Express Pay. The CEO Express Pay was a judge, and after that he just employed a guy. He told them he need them to come and work on at the back end of the entire interface, right? So you know when you go to a beautiful restaurant, the restaurant is very beautiful, but behind the restaurant is the kitchen, right? And the kitchen is always not as beautiful as the restaurant. So there are instances where when you see the kitchen, you will know what to eat in the restaurant. So the back end is always messy, and the front end looks beautiful, right? So that's how product development is like. So when we see a beautiful interface, all you should be looking is to look beyond the interface, but what is really running behind for that beautiful interface to show, right? So it's always good that the money part is motivating, but let us begin to look into the future. The truth of the matter is that to get a job now, you really need to put yourself out there. And this is one of the ways to market yourself as a person. And let me be very sincere with you that you are very privileged to be part of these teams, to participate in this hackathon. We need to give it all the strength we can and make sure that we bring out the best that is in us, be able to develop innovative solutions. Because this may be a breakthrough. You will not know who will be watching. And the development of the product will be streamed live. You don't know who is watching you and we want to contact you, right? So let us make sure we bring out our best. Then the second team will go home with the 3,000 and then the final team. So 5 teams in all, but at the end of the day, we'll be selecting 1 to 3 to represent the university. So imagine you carrying the university in Accra. You don't want to disappoint the university, I believe. So you have to make sure you give out your best, and the top 3 teams will be able. So the first place also represent the product during the academic lunch on Thursday, and represent your university in the national hackathon. So once you win and you are declared as the first, at the national, at the launch of the Start Bank, where we are going to have the closing ceremony, the overall best team will make a 5-minute presentation again to the dignitaries that will be present, right? And maybe that may be another opportunity for you to showcase what you have developed. So it's only the first winner or the number 1, the overall best, who will make the presentation at the grand launch of the Start Bank. So wish you all the best. Now you are equipped with all the guidelines, and all you need to do is to start thinking. And I believe before you got here and how you develop your topics, you may have already thought into it a lot before coming up with those topics. So for now, I want to believe it is already clear in your mind what you want to do. Let me tell you a story. In November 2023, a group of us from Ghana Statistical Service represented Ghana Statistical Service in Ghana at what we call the UN Datathon, right? So we participated in Rwanda, and as at when we were leaving the airport, we didn't even know what we were going to develop. So when we got to Rwanda, we sat in and we started thinking and started bringing ideas together. And we were able to at least, we worked as if there was no tomorrow, right? So working day and night, we're all at the same location and working. And to the glory of God, who knows, we've won. We won the overall best in the whole world. Yes, so that is what we actually stand to gain. So last year, UN Datathon, Ghana Statistical Service Data Science Team won. That is a fact. And this year, we've been invited to come and compete again in Colombia. First week in November. So the team will be going to Colombia to compete and also represent the Statistical Service in the World Data Forum, which is the 5th edition in Colombia. You see, so these are some of the opportunities you stand to get when you engage in some of these things, right? So you are not wasting your time here. Let me be very frank with you. This is a platform for you to showcase your skills and also try as much as you can to develop a solution that can solve the problem. Are we together? So on this note, and on behalf of the management of Ghana Statistical Service and its board, we are grateful and privileged to have you to participate in this year's Statistical Data Hackathon. We want to wish you all the best. Give out your best, and as I indicated, we are here to support you. If you have any challenge, just call on us. We will come, look at what you are doing, guide you, and tell you what data is available and what data is not available. Are you all right? Of course, we can't have all the data sets available. We can only have some and not all. So if you ask and that data is not available, it's not our fault that we don't have it available. So wish you all the best. And as I indicated, the next thing we'll be doing is to quickly walk you through the Start Bank. And I believe we all have our laptops here. We're actually going to have a practical session. We are not going to say that. We'll do theory going through of the Start Bank. So we'll walk you through the practical session of the Start Bank. How do you assess the data? And if the data is not available on Start Bank, which other data source you can use? Are we together? GSS has the Start Bank, which hosts aggregated data. And when I talk about aggregated data, I'll be explaining that in a jiffy. Then also have what we call the micro data portal. So the micro data is a data set that is raw data which has not been processed. So the Start Bank actually houses statistics, but the micro data portal houses the raw data. And when you ask computer science the difference between data and information, they will tell you that data is an unprocessed information. and information is a processed data. Is that not what we say? So information is a processed data when data is an unprocessed information. But the point is that when you look at the stat bank, what we actually housing on the stat bank is more or less like an information. It is something that has been processed from the raw data. So aside what has been processed from the raw data, aggregated into various demographic units, we also have the raw data itself, and that is what we call the micro data. So we'll also introduce you to that and how you can use that micro data together with the processed data from the stat bank. And then when we even go onto the stat bank, we realize there are different kinds of data sets. As I indicated, we have data at individual level. And even at individual level, there are restrictions. For example, when you go to the census data, you are looking for information on education. During the census, it wasn't everybody in Ghana we asked for their educational level. Education was only asked for individuals 3 years and older. So those who were less than 3 years, during the census night, we didn't ask anything about their education. So when you sum the numbers up on the education section, you will not get a total population. So you need to understand that these are the caveats of each of the models that are contained in our data sets we have. So we really need to make good use of this particular information. Then we know how we are interpreting the figures. So if you say that a particular percentage of Ghanaians do not have access to electricity, you should be explaining it in the context of households. Because, for example, on the, during the census, the information on electricity was collected at a household level. So every member in that household actually have the household information attached to him or her. And it is going to be the same for all members within the household. So if I come to your household, let's say this is a household made of a team, and then he's the household head. If I need any information about the electricity, I ask the household head. I will not ask everybody in the household. You see that? So if you are interpreting the numbers, contextualizing the numbers is also key. We need to put the numbers in context so that if I'm interpreting unemployment rate, I know the caveat. We are talking about 7 days preceding the census night. Have you engaged in any activity? You see that? So we need to be getting all these things so that at the end of the day, we know what is up. At this point, I want to pause and ask if there are any questions for clarity. Otherwise, we want to progress with the start bank and then see what we can do. Any question? Any question? Yes. Please note the question.
So please, can you have a product that when you reach the national level, you change it?
Okay, that's a good question. So the question is whether you can have a product now for this particular hackathon, then at the national level, you change it to another product. Yes, you are allowed to do that. The simple answer is you're allowed to do that. At the national level, it's going to be a different ballgame altogether. And for that matter, we need products that can win. So if you think what you are developing for this 36 hours is not an innovative solution to win the nationals, and you want to change it to something else, that is fairly allowed. Is that all right? Actually, it's the first time I'm getting this question. I never had it. Where you want to change your team composition going into the national. I mean, Team A has won. Please, can you see? Startbank.startghana.gov.gh. So this is a link you need to access the Start Bank. Are you okay? Please, are you okay with the link? Have you written it down? Let's write it down to switch to. Let me advise. Use your laptop. And your laptop is
No. Check sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yes, that's my younger brother. Yes, boss. You change the login. Yeah, boss. Good afternoon.
Network banner. Yeah, I see cable. Yeah, this is everything is working. That's a for 7.
The network is working.
When I do a search of Start Bank or Start Ghana, and I try to access it, this is what I see. Can you all see this interface? Those who are successful, can you see this interface?
No, this one. This one you can force it.
I want you all to have this interview.
Because now people will feel bored watching the whole thing.
So let's know if it is working.